Our last step of practice is going to be adding a middle ground into the composition. So right now we have the painting as our background, the focal point or foreground is the bird, and then we need to add something into the space around it. Remember, for your final project, one requirement is that you find or create a middle ground that fits with your focal point or goes with it. So one example for the bird could be adding a tree branch that the bird is standing on, or some leaves, or maybe clouds in the sky. For practice, I'm just going to add some different swirls into the middle ground, and you can do the same. Or if you have a more creative idea that you would like to try out and add, definitely go for it. But continue thinking about your final project. First of all, will you add paper quilling to the middle ground? Or is that something where you want to do a more painting-based project and have your middle ground done with paint versus paper quilling? So think about how you want that to be laid out as you get towards your final project. And then another option for this middle ground is using thinner strips of paper to create depth. So if you have any thinner strips of the paper quilling paper, I would definitely recommend using those in the middle ground to help that focal point still pop out, come forward compared to the middle ground. So to get started, like I said, I'm just going to create swirls, but be creative if you want to try something else. I'm going to roll this about halfway and then flip it and roll the opposite way, and then let that expand a little bit. So it's almost creating an S shape, just giving a little bit of texture into that middle ground. So I add a few of those into the space in the middle ground, holding them down for a minute to make sure that the glue is going to stick and the glue dries. And just like the last one, I'm rolling this about halfway and then rolling it the opposite direction, making them two different sizes and holding it down onto the background. So if I fast forward a little bit here, you can see a couple different swirls that were added. Try to incorporate some different colors into it. So I'm using the orange and the yellow. If you want to do clouds, maybe try out using white and some blues in the background. And then just one more option here to show you is maybe adding charcoal or just some finishing touches into the background space. So always think about ways that you can go above and beyond with your project and taking things a little bit further. So for example, here with the turtle example, and I'll go back to that to pause it really quick. But with this turtle example, you can see the charcoal that was added behind the face here to really make that pop and stand out more, almost like a shadow around it to stand out against the background. So think about what you want to do with that middle ground space. How can you do more than just paper quilling and take it further for your final project?